Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Mia. It has been a while since I did a video, so I thought that a showdown of my complete pages is a good idea for this video. Or my last video of completed pages was done like 6 months ago, and I thought it was easier to restart a recording video is to show you what I have been coloring in the last few months. So welcome back to my channel, if especially for my newer subscribers. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing. Take a drink, and so let's begin. I will start in no particular order. So in this mystery spots, I did like 2 pages, I think. I did the bear in blue, and I did like brown for the eyes and the snout. And I also did these are pine cones on a branch. When I did this, it was very difficult for me to realize what it is. Actually, I observed that if you're looking with your camera, it's way more easier to understand what the shapes are in some of these pages, not all. So this is this. Let's see, we have color by colors. The winter book by Kira Shershneva. I did 2, I think, in this one. This was like in December, I think. Yes. Mittens and the skates. Oh, this I finished in April. So all these are done with different alcohol markers. I have a mix of different brands. I don't use just one, but I have a Ohuhu markers. I have the pastel ones, and I have a smaller of the classic colors that I use in general, plus other small markers that I bought over the time. Let's Chibi Christmas. It's by Jade Summer. This is it's a heavy shaded coloring book that I don't particularly like. It's way too dark, and the images after you're coloring, they are still dark. So I did this one. I really like the blonde hair, how it looks. And I did this one that I have started in December, but I finished it in April. This one is way too fluorescent for the entire page. Maybe I will come back with some another marker to dull it down, because this is not the center of the page. The center of the page should be the girl. So I did this. Also, Color by Color by Kira Sharshniva in the spring book. I did some. You will see that there are many that I have finished in April, but they are started quite a long time ago. I like this one a lot. I really like the flowers. I did this one for the Easter. You can see, these are all done with alcohol markers, but the paper in these books it's really not so good. You can see all the strikes in the alcohol markers, and they are not the alcohol markers fault, it's really the paper. But in the end it's alright. It's like texture. It's alright. I'm not mad about it. It's just something that you have to consider when you're buying these coloring books. And also for the Easter I did this one with the bunny and the spring flowers. Next I have Christmas Color by Color paper cut art by Sechan Sachdeva. I did only one, and this one is the reindeer, the baby reindeer. In this one, large print adult coloring book of Fall by Zen Master. I finished this one. This was a whip from the last year, but I came back because it wasn't finished, that it wasn't looking very good, so I colored on top of this. I color the vase. I recolor the flower because I didn't like it, and I finished the background. Also all alcohol markers. In autumn patterns with a black background by Color Questopia, I did a few in this one. I did this one, which is quite dull. The color, some colors are way too light. I guess you can come back with some coloring pencil if you don't like this light coloring, but for me it's okay. I did this one in November. I really like to do this kind of patterns. It's like easy coloring, and sometimes I really do like to do some color that is, you can do it in one sit and it's all done. And in the last part of the book you have some samples of the other books of the publisher. So I did this one, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee. I really like this one. It's also a very simple one, a lot of greens, and the sky is really beautiful. Next, this is one book that I think it's going to be very difficult for me to finish or even advance, because the patterns are really big, the pages are really big and there's way too many colors, and I have difficulty to find the colors that goes with the recommended colors. Here I did two. This I did with water-based markers. I really don't like the texture that you have with the watercolor markers. I don't think it goes well with the coloring page because you have already texture from the lining and the numbers, and if you put on top texture of the markers, not so good. And I really had difficulties to find the correct shade. And I did another one, and this one I don't know if in the camera it's visible, but I did one. It's a mixture of gouache painting, which is the background, and I used acrylic markers to color. I like this method of coloring once because the gouache and the acrylic markers are more opaque, so you don't see a lot of the lining, and it's way more easier to find some shades. It goes well on the pages that you don't have a lot of details. The downside is that even if I used acrylic markers with the fine tip, it's really difficult to do the details, so you have to have patience when you're using this method. And another thing is that I color the background at the end, and you can see all the strokes of the brush that I really don't like so much. So I think that next time I will tape, if there's not too many details, I will tape down the shapes and I will color the background in the beginning and then the small details. And this one, if you watched my video with my New Year's resolutions, I had for this year I had mentions that I want to do more coloring or painting with watercolors, gouache or acrylic, and this is like a beginning for that. We will see if in time, if I use this method, I will get better at it. Next one is Stone Mosaic, the third book. I'm really close to finish. I think this one, I don't think I finished it. This is one of the color by number books that I really enjoy. Usually I'm not a big fan of color by number. It really depends on the topic of the coloring book, and this one I really like. The stone mosaic is also an important pattern that is different that you see in the other color by number books. So let's see. Yeah, I did this one, which at first it was very difficult for me to understand what it is, but it's like a door or a porch or something like that, and these are trees with fruits in it. I use in this book I was able to use alcohol markers but also water-based markers without having that big streaks that you can see, because especially because of the stone pattern that is used. So I did this one in March, and it's more easier to choose your colors because you are not restricted by something that is pre-imposed in shade. Let's see, next I did this one. This is like a mirror and it has light blue in it, but I did a really light blue, so it's almost like the white of the page. And I also did this one with the planets. Let's see, next I was thinking like, let's start coloring in the books that I didn't touch, and I have a lot of books that it has nothing colored in. So I took this one. I did only one coloring paging in this one, which is exactly it's now that I see it's exactly this one. Funny, I didn't see that before. And it really is bad. This is one coloring page that did not go well. So you can see that I don't have the sunflowers like is in the book cover. I think that this is put on top, and I also don't have these lavender flowers on this side, so maybe you can put it on top with paint markers or something. So yeah, I did this one with alcohol markers and I came back with some coloring pencils. I really did not did a good job on the lavender field, and I came back and I added more and more, and that did not make it better. But yeah, it is what it is. I did also the field, I did it in alcohol marker, and I came back with some coloring pencils, and the coloring pencil did not stick on top of the alcohol marker, so there's some bizarre texture on it. And I did I forget the name. In the sky, I did this with intentionally with texture, so there will be texture like in different places of the paper. I like how I did the buildings and how I shaded, and after that I did some golden marker on top, which did not really add it to the view, but it is what it is. So this is not the best page that I did, but yeah. Okay, also new coloring page in this book, Fantasy Landscape by Color Questopia, and I did this one, which was quite easy because the patterns were quite big, and I did like water-based markers. You can see really well the texture. And after that I came with like a black marker, and I didn't have the patience to do the lining, so it's not really good, but yeah. Let's continue. I have Spring Scenes by Creative Heavens by Teresa Goodridge, and I did what I did in this one. I didn't mark what I did in this one. I don't know if I did something in this one. No, I think it's an intruder. No, there's nothing colored in this one. I think I just bookmarked something that I wanted to do for the Easter, but I didn't get to do it, so I'm sorry. You go away. I have Country Tram by Creative Heavens, also Teresa Goodridge, and I did this one. This one was also like a long time whip. I didn't even put the date when I have finished. Unfortunately, especially like in this video, I'm doing it after 6 months. If I don't write down when I have finished it, sometimes I even forget, and maybe there are some pages that I am not showing to you because I don't know where them were finished, but I remember this one because it was a long time wait, and I did, okay, let's go, you have to finish this page. So I know that I did it in the last 6 months because I did it like in the same weekend when I colored this one. So yeah, in the end I think this came really well because the whip was not so good, so I came back and I added some color and I added some shade, and it's much better. And I finished this one. This is also was like a whip, but it was just started. It was not so many colored in, and also I did not put the date down. It's very difficult for me to keep an agenda because when I'm coloring it's like an impulse. I don't think it, I don't make a plan. I just, hey, I want to color, so I grab it, and when I finish I forget to put the date. And I also have finished this one. All the three that I have finished in about the same time. Oh no, this is not finished. This is still a whip because I didn't do the wall, and I didn't do the land. I did a part of the sky, and there's no limitation there, so that threw me off, I think, and I stopped there. So I still a whip. I have to, so I put it, I'm going to put back this line so I will know this needs to be finished. Okay, yeah. And in this one, Charm Floral, this is like a what they call it, it's a watercolor book with you have the line work for the presented artwork. So I wanted to do some more watercolor, and I chose this one. So this is the artwork, which is not real watercolor artwork. This is clearly like a digital painting, and I tried to mimic. I have difficulties because this paper it's not water paper, it's like copy paper, and it doesn't absorb well the water, it doesn't spread enough the water, so it was quite difficult for me to do that. So I think if I will continue to color in this book, I will not use water-based media because it doesn't work really well. I think I will use like markers and pencils. And I have this one, A Spot of Tea by Stormy Weather. I worked a few pages in this one. I did the belong to page. And I did multiple pages in the beginning because in this book you have like instructions how to use it, and you have a little bit of exercise for the for the color theory that you can apply in this book. So I did this, and this is how to, and you color what you want. This is the color wheel. Then they talk about color scheme. You have monochromatic, but I didn't do monochromatic. I did whatever I wanted. They talk about analog and tonal colors, complementary, triads, and you have a color test page, then tips, which I colored a little bit. All this is done with alcohol markers. And I did this first page, I did it in December of last year. I don't know how the camera will pick up the colors. This is a page that I posted on my Instagram, and unfortunately this camera does not pick really well the color. Especially this is like a really orange color that I did with like gel sticks, and I used the dry method to apply it, and the photos are like a raw amber type of color, and it's really bizarre. So I did this one in December. I did this one in April, and for this one I used like the Amazon Basics alcohol markers, except for the face because I didn't have these colors for the face. I also did this one in December, and I think that's it. Yeah, this is a really nice book if you like surrealism. It's not for everybody, but it's very colorful, and you can use whatever you like on the color scheme. It will look good in the end. Okay, let's go. I will bring these books here. Tales from the Forest Kingdom by Hannah Curzon. I did two, I think, in this one. yeah, I did this on the starting page. I did this one, which was, I did this one in the beginning of the year. It was like a big one sitting, and I finished the details on the next day. I really enjoyed doing this page, and it did very well on my Instagram. And I did the last page. So in this one I used like the Castle Art, the pastel colors, I think, to do the smoke and the candle and this part, and the rest I have some glitter gel to give it some shine. I don't think you can see that very well. And I thought, hey, this is a good background, I will use makeup. So I took out my makeup and I did like this smoky shade, but it was really difficult to keep it without streaks, and I tried to come back with some more makeup, but it did not turn really good. I really like how I color with my coloring pencils, but the background is not that great. Yep. Next I have Jardin Enchanté by Dessin and Tolra. I have a flip through of this coloring book on my channel if you are interested, and I did this in the last November with alcohol markers, and I come back with some coloring pencils just to do a little bit of shading. These are a lot of books in this series, and they are all like black background and is like a cardstock type of paper, so you can use really wherever you want in like media in this book. Next I have Mein Winter Spaziergang by Rita Berman, and I did this one in December, just like Christmas lights with different colors. And then I thought I bought some like iridescent medium, and I put it on top. I don't know if you can see it in the light, if it catches. It's really nice in person, but there's just one problem. There's like deposits on the paper. It's not transparent. It's like a shade of yellow that dulls up a little bit the coloring pencils. So I will not use this method to do it like this. I will do maybe just on the top of certain things. So this is that, and I did one in this book. I didn't film this one because it was only a test that I had in mind. I was trying to color with a very limited palette, and I put on top a challenge to blindly choose the 5 colors, and I said to myself, maybe this will be a disaster, so I will choose 5 colors. I will color in, and if I like it, I will do another challenge and I will film that. So I did, This one it also did well on my Instagram, and the color palette that I had was like this wheat color from Derwent Lightfast. I have the cinnamon color from Faber-Castell. I have burnt ochre from Faber-Castell. I have also this magenta, which is more like a brown magenta from Faber-Castell, and I had this phthalo green, also dark phthalo green, also from Faber-Castell. And when I had these colors, I did it to myself, what the hell, it's not going to look well. And then I choose the page that I wanted to color in, and it did well. The colors go really well together, and I was trying to use different methods so I can bring some interest in this coloring page. You see, like here I was trying really to use the wheat color to do the highlight. I used cinnamon to do the transition color towards the magenta, and in the end it did very well. So I did try to do a second coloring page with another selection of 5 coloring pencils, choose without choosing like blindfolded, and I did started doing that. The problem was that I had so many interruptions when I did that video that in the end I didn't finish coloring the page, and I stopped filming because it was like a nightmare. So let's continue. I have this Mein Spaziergang durch die Jahreszeiten, also by Rita Berman. The Rita Berman books are one of my favorite coloring books. I really color in these ones like the majority of time, even if I'm just testing some coloring pencil or I really want to do a coloring page. This is my choice. So I finished this one. This was also a whip from the last year, because I did it for the Easter, but I haven't finished it, so I came back this year and I have finished it. And I use some coloring pencils that I don't use on a current basis. It's like a chocolate bunny. I did this one. I don't remember what I use as coloring pencils, and I didn't write when I have finished this page. I did this double spread, and this also I took photos for the Instagram, and even in this video I think the color of the background, which is like a brown in the middle and goes to a more orange brown, the camera does not pick at all the real colors, and it doesn't look so good on the camera as in real life, but yeah, it is what it is. I did this one like it was a whip, and I came back and I'm still debating if it's finished or not. I'm not I'm not really pleased because I didn't do the sky, and I'm not sure I want to do the sky. Am I leaving it like this or not? So I'm still debating if I'm doing the rest. So I don't know if this page is finished or not. We will see. And I also did this double spread that I really like because they are vivid colors. And I use this is like one of my favorite color schemes that I use. This like a yellow ochre with some blue, maybe a green, but blue and yellow ochre goes really well together. So yeah, I have multiple whips in this book that I still have yet to finish. In this book, Winter Malbuch, I did some pages. This is like a Christmas book. So I did this one. I have some water-based markers, and I tried to use like gel pens on top, but it doesn't looks really good. I did this one in like last November. These are like alcohol markers, and I came back with some coloring pencils and gel pen to do some detail. I did this one. It's also a mix of coloring pencils and gel pens and some type of marker. I did this one. All this was done in winter, so I didn't know what to do with the snow. I left it white. Maybe sometimes if I will come back and do more shading on the snow, I don't know. And I did this one. It's like just pencils, and on the trees for the lights I used like a marker to make more visible the colors. Yeah. And I will finish with Coloriage Wild. I did some in these ones. So I have in the fourth volume, I did this one. And it's the girl, I did it with coloring pencils, and in the end I came back here with like glitter glue to have more interest in this page. And I did with an alcohol liner, I think I did the eye, and I really don't like this spot here. I wanted to do like a cheek color, and I put down a marker, and it didn't budge. It stayed like that. I couldn't blend it in the paper, so it stayed like that. And later when I did the dog, I used like Carin markers, which are like water-based markers but with ink. And I wetted previously I wetted the dog because I wanted to do like is a ghost or like a spirit that comes next to the girl. So I wetted all around the dog, and unfortunately the paper didn't took it very well because I really tried to scrub it in the end, so I would have this water effect. Okay, let's see. And the 5th volume I did this one, which is just coloring pencils. I use some Spectrum Noir on this one, and I really like the color of the eyes and also the color of the leaves. And I will finish with the 2nd volume. This is all that I have done in the last 6 months. So I did this one. So I have used like Karen brush markers for the flowers, the leaves, and the base color of the hair. And I used some on the girl that did not go really well. And then I came back with some coloring pencils and I tried to do some texture. I really like how this yellow, it's like one marker that goes really well in this book, and the other colors not so much, but I really like this one. And if I will show you what I have colored in these books, you will find a lot of time this color, because I really like the color. I really like the potency, the vibrance of this color, and it goes well on the paper. And I did in the background, I used like gel sticks and I used the dry method to mix it in. I did this girl, again the same color of the flower. I'm debating if I'm leaving the girl's skin uncolored and I do just the hair and the flowers. I'm still not sure if I want to color, because depending on what I choose, it does not go well. So same for this one. This one is, I did like a marker, I don't remember what I used for the hair, and then I came back with some coloring pencils. And also the eyes, it's a marker, and I did the flowers and the leaves with coloring pencils. And still I'm thinking, am I going to color the skin of the girl or I'm leaving like this? We will see. So yeah, this is all that I have colored in the last 6 months. It's not a lot, I know, but I don't have a lot of time to color, and sometimes I'm not in the mood to color, so I'm not forcing myself to do a lot of things. I just prefer to have fun when I'm coloring. So yeah, this is like some people color this amount of pages in 1 month, and I'm really appreciative of people that are doing like a lot of coloring. I do think that makes you better at coloring, but I'm going on my own pace. And I will throw in this video, just because I did mention in my resolution video that I want to start coloring myself and drawing my own pages. I do not draw really well. I'm quite bad though, but that's not the point. The point is that I want to work on that. So I'm trying to color, I'm trying some painting, different things. I have some books that I bought, and I'm trying to follow in what is in that book. So I tried to sketch this one. These are not my original artworks. It's really the example that I found in those books. So I did this girl that I like how it turned out. There's just one problem that I found, is that I did the chair way too wide, and the girl is like not sitting really well. There's not a flow in the girl, but that's no problem. The important is to try and see what did not go well and work on that. And I also will throw other things that I have done. I have these children crayons that I bought a long time ago, and I have never used them. Is this small set of 8 crayons, and they are horrible. But I told to myself, hey, you have to try to do something with it. And they are difficult to use. If you want like a color payoff, you really have to press in, and the main problem is they are so big and difficult to sharp. You don't have a point. You never have a point on this one. And I bought a special sharpener for this one, and it's still not going very well, but yeah, I tried to use. So I did like this big type of leaves, so I can use the big crayons, because you can't do details. So yeah. So when I exercising my drawing, I look on the internet at different things that comes to my mind at that moment, and I'm trying to sketch it. And I took this is like a metallic Derwent coloring pencils. I really like this color, and I took it and I sketched really fast something that I saw on the internet, and I continue doing that. So I did this, like fruits and drinks, and I tried to sketch this lotus flower. And this page is one that I really like. Once, because I tried this simple doodly things, and then I came back and I did it a second time. And what I really like is this one. This one I took my time to do it. I don't know. Yeah, I put like the seats, the sites where I look up for these images, but this one I sketched it in pencils, and then I came back with a marker, and I colored in, and then I remove the pencils. And this one I really like a lot. So I also did like with the pen, these flowers, really sketchy. I don't insisted a lot. Also with the crayons I tried to do these big flowers, and later I was in the mood to do like an urban sketching, so I did this one. So I used the big black crayon in here, but in the end I came back with like a water-based marker to do it on top. It's really sketchy. I don't mind it. I know it's not super something, but you have to try at the beginning. And I did this one. This was like a really sketch. I didn't stay a long time to do this. This is also with the pen. Just simple sketches. And this was done with a marker, and then I came with some ink on top just to give some interest to the building. So yeah, I hope this video was not too long for you. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye.